However, after a confrontation with a school bully, Newton resolved to excel academically. His determination paid off, and he quickly rose to the top of his class. Recognizing his potential, his uncle and teachers persuaded his mother to allow him to pursue higher education instead of managing the family farm. To support himself, Newton worked as a servitor, a low-ranking student responsible for performing chores for wealthier students in exchange for tuition. The nature of light. He conducted experiments with prisms, proving that white light was composed of multiple colors. Newton returned to Cambridge in 1667 and was quickly appointed a Fellow of Trinity College, proving that white light could be separated into a spectrum of colors through a prism. The book provided a rigorous mathematical explanation for planetary motion, explaining why celestial bodies follow elliptical orbits. In the quiet village of Woolsthorpe, England, on Christmas Day in 1642, a frail infant was born prematurely. Few believed he would survive, let alone change the course of human knowledge. His name was Isaac Newton. Newton's early years were marked by solitude and introspection. His father had died before he was born, and his mother remarried, leaving young Isaac in the care of his grandmother. Feeling abandoned, Newton sought refuge in books, constructing mechanical devices and conducting experiments with whatever materials he could find. His precocious intelligence was evident, though he was often distracted by his own thoughts, leading to an unremarkable performance in school at first. However, after a confrontation with a school bully, Newton resolved to excel academically. His determination paid off, and he quickly rose to the top of his class. Recognizing his potential, his uncle and teachers persuaded his mother to allow him to pursue higher education instead of managing the family farm. At the King's School in Grantham, Newton developed a deep interest in mathematics and mechanics. He spent hours constructing windmills, sundials, and even simple machines to understand their inner workings. His fascination with the natural world only grew stronger, and in 1661, at the age of 18, he entered Trinity College, Cambridge. At Cambridge, Newton immersed himself in the works of Descartes, Kepler, and Galileo. While most students followed Aristotelian philosophy, Newton was drawn to newer ideas that questioned traditional understandings of physics and mathematics. He spent long hours in the library, teaching himself advanced concepts in algebra, geometry, and motion. To support himself, Newton worked as a servitor, a low-ranking student responsible for performing chores for wealthier students in exchange for tuition. Despite his humble status, he rapidly outpaced his peers academically. During this time, he began formulating what would later become calculus, though he kept much of his work unpublished.
Master, you seem lost in your calculations again. What are you working on?
The motions of the heavens, Humphrey. There is an order to all things, and I seek to understand it.
In 1665, as the Great Plague swept through England, Cambridge was forced to close, and Newton returned home to Woolsthorpe. While many scholars saw this as an academic disruption, for Newton, it became the most productive period of his life, a time now referred to as his Annus Mirabilis, Year of Wonders. During these 2 years, Newton laid the foundations for 3 of his greatest contributions to science. 1. The laws of motion. He developed the principles that would later be published as his 3 laws of motion, revolutionizing physics. 2. The nature of light. He conducted experiments with prisms, proving that white light was composed of multiple colors. 3. Universal gravitation. Observing an apple fall, he theorized that the same force governing falling objects also governed the motion of planets.
If an apple falls due to a force, could that force extend beyond Earth? Could it govern the movement of the moon and planets?
Newton's insights into gravity and planetary motion provided the first clear explanation of why planets follow elliptical orbits, expanding upon Kepler's laws with a mathematical foundation. Despite these groundbreaking discoveries, Newton was hesitant to publish his findings. His reluctance stemmed from his aversion to controversy and criticism, which would later define much of his career. It was only through the encouragement of Edmund Halley that Newton would eventually share his revolutionary ideas with the world. Newton returned to Cambridge in 1667 and was quickly appointed a Fellow of Trinity College. By 1669, at the age of 26, he was made Lucasian Professor of Mathematics, one of the most prestigious academic positions in England. This role provided him with both recognition and the freedom to continue his research without financial worries. Newton lectured on optics, physics, and mathematics, but his teachings were so advanced that only a few students attended. He was more interested in solitary study than public discourse, preferring to document his findings meticulously rather than engage in debates. During this period, Newton conducted groundbreaking experiments on light and color, proving that white light could be separated into a spectrum of colors through a prism. This directly challenged the prevailing belief that light was pure and homogeneous. Newton also refined his mathematical techniques, preparing what would later be recognized as calculus. However, he remained cautious, delaying the publication of many of his ideas out of fear of criticism. His reclusive nature and reluctance to publish led to an intellectual battle with Robert Hooke, a leading member of the Royal Society. Their disagreements over the nature of light and gravity would grow into a bitter rivalry that lasted for years.
Newton, your conclusions on light are flawed. Light behaves as a wave, not as particles, as you claim.
If you disagree, Hooke, then demonstrate it with proof. My experiments speak for themselves.
The conflicts with Hooke and others would further deepen Newton's preference for isolation, but they would not stop his relentless pursuit of understanding the laws governing the universe. After returning to Cambridge following the Great Plague, Newton quickly established himself as a formidable thinker. In 1669, at just 26 years old, he was appointed Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at Trinity College. His lectures were highly technical, attracting only a few students. However, this did not concern Newton, as he preferred solitude and spent much of his time immersed in research. Newton's reputation grew rapidly, and his groundbreaking work on optics and calculus became a topic of discussion throughout Europe's scientific community. One of his most significant achievements was the development of a reflecting telescope, which used mirrors instead of lenses to eliminate chromatic aberrations. This innovation was presented to the Royal Society, earning him immediate recognition among England's leading scientists. His experiments with prisms and light revolutionized the understanding of optics. By demonstrating that white light is composed of multiple colors, he directly challenged the long-held belief. His findings, later compiled in his book, Optics, 1704, provided a comprehensive explanation of light and color.
Remarkable. Newton, you have solved one of our greatest challenges in optics. This will change astronomy forever.
It is but a refinement, Sir Wren. The celestial bodies will reveal much to us with clearer instruments.
However, Newton's rising prominence also led to conflicts with Robert Hooke, a respected scientist and member of the Royal Society. Hooke, who had conducted extensive research on light and motion, challenged Newton's theories aggressively.
Newton, your conclusions on light are flawed. Light behaves as a wave, not as particles, as you claim.
If you disagree, Hooke, then present your proof. My experiments demonstrate the truth.
The dispute between Newton and Hooke escalated, leading Newton to withdraw from public debates and refrain from publishing further findings for years. It was only through the encouragement of Edmund Halley that Newton resumed his work on celestial mechanics. Despite his retreat from scientific discourse, Newton continued his private research. His studies on planetary motion led him to refine his theories on forces and acceleration. His defining moment came when he formulated the three fundamental laws of motion, establishing the principles that would govern physics for centuries. An object in motion remains in motion unless acted upon by an external force. Force equals mass times acceleration. F equals ma. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. His investigations also led to the concept of universal gravitation. Inspired by the sight of an apple falling from a tree, Newton hypothesized that the same force responsible for the apple's descent also kept the moon in orbit around the Earth. By expanding on Kepler's laws of planetary motion, Newton mathematically demonstrated why planets move in elliptical orbits instead of perfect circles.
Newton, your discoveries are groundbreaking. You must publish them immediately.
I detest controversy, Halley. If I publish, my work will be scrutinized and attacked.
Halley, recognizing the importance of Newton's work, took it upon himself to ensure that it was published. He not only persuaded Newton to complete his manuscript, but also personally funded the publication of what would become one of the most influential scientific works in history. In 1687, Newton's Principia Mathematica was published, revolutionizing the scientific understanding of the universe. The book provided a rigorous mathematical explanation for planetary motion, explaining why celestial bodies follow elliptical orbits. Newton's theories built upon Kepler's laws, proving that gravity is a universal force governing both earthly and celestial bodies.
Newton, this work will be studied for centuries. You have unveiled the secrets of the cosmos.
The laws were always there, waiting to be uncovered.
Despite its acclaim, Principia also faced opposition. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, a German mathematician, had independently developed a form of calculus around the same time as Newton. This led to a bitter dispute over who had truly invented calculus.
Newton, your claims are baseless. I developed calculus independently, and my notation is superior.
The truth is evident in my unpublished works from decades earlier. Your approach is merely a different notation for the same concepts.
The feud between Newton and Leibniz divided the scientific community, with supporters rallying behind each mathematician. The dispute persisted long after their deaths, shaping the development of mathematics for generations. Newton's success led to prestigious appointments. In 1696, he became Master of the Royal Mint, overseeing England's coinage system and implementing measures against counterfeiting. His analytical skills brought stability to England's financial system. By 1703, Newton was elected President of the Royal Society, a position he held until his death. Although he continued to mentor younger scientists, he fiercely protected his discoveries and engaged in heated disputes with those who questioned his authority.
Uncle, you work too hard. You must rest.
There is still so much to uncover, Catherine. The universe does not reveal its secrets easily.
Newton's later years were spent delving into alchemy and theology, subjects he kept largely private. Although best remembered for his scientific contributions, he believed deeply in a divine order, seeing his discoveries as proof of a grand cosmic design. In 1727, at the age of 84, Isaac Newton passed away. He was laid to rest in Westminster Abbey, an honor reserved for Britain's greatest minds. Newton's legacy endures. His laws of motion remain the foundation of classical mechanics. His studies on optics transformed our understanding of light, and his contributions to mathematics shaped the evolution of calculus. Modern physics, from Einstein's relativity to space exploration, builds upon Newton's revolutionary insights. His discoveries not only shaped the scientific community, but also influenced the way humanity perceives the universe. The Industrial Revolution, which followed a century after his passing, benefited from his principles of motion and mechanics, leading to innovations in engineering and technology. His gravitational theory paved the way for space exploration, enabling future scientists to calculate planetary orbits and design spacecraft that could traverse the solar system. Even today, Newton's equations remain fundamental in physics courses worldwide, reinforcing the timeless nature of his work. Beyond science, Newton's contributions impacted philosophy, theology, and economics. His belief in a structured and orderly universe resonated with Enlightenment thinkers, influencing political ideologies and modern governance. His tenure at the Royal Mint improved England's financial system, setting standards for currency and economic policies that lasted for centuries. Newton's brilliance was not without its struggles. His lifelong conflicts with peers, his reluctance to share his findings, and his obsessive nature remind us that even the greatest minds grapple with human flaws. Yet, despite his introverted and often combative nature, his intellectual achievements remain unparalleled. His humble words reflect his lifelong pursuit of knowledge. His laws of motion remain the foundation of classical mechanics. His studies on optics transformed our understanding of light, and his contributions to mathematics shaped the evolution of calculus. Modern physics, from Einstein's relativity to space exploration, builds upon Newton's revolutionary insights. His humble words reflect his lifelong pursuit of knowledge.
I was but a child playing on the seashore, finding a smoother pebble here, a prettier shell there, while the great ocean of truth lay undiscovered before me.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe to History Portal for more historical stories.